All right, so this is going to be a reading for Sagittarius. And for the Sagittarius that I'm reading for today, I'm seeing that something that you've wanted for a really long time is starting to open up for you. Whatever this is, it's something that feels really right, really correct, and it really speaks to your heart space with the Queen of Cups and your sort of hopes and desires for yourself. I want to say for the world. So that's what this reading is going to be about, and I'm going to dive in deeper in a moment. But before I do, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and for receiving this reading. If you would like a personal reading, I do offer them, and I love to do personal readings. You can book with me at my website, ajstarot.com. The link to that is also down below in the description box. And if this reading resonates with you, please take a second to like and subscribe, as that'll help me connect more with your energy. Let's dive in here, Sagittarius. In the recent past, we had the Seven of Swords, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Four of Wands. So there was something in your environment, whether that was your home, your career, a relationship, that was really deceptive, or maybe even like betraying you. And something happened here with the tower at the bottom of the deck so that you could kind of see the truth. But there was sort of like a thorn in the rose bush there. Let's see what that was with the Seven of Swords. The King of Swords, the King of Pentacles, the Sun. So this was something or someone who you sort of completely trusted. You could have thought that you knew them really well. They could have made you very happy with the Sun card. It kind of seemed to you like everything was above board, everything was going really well. So why was the Seven of Swords here? We have the Four of Swords, the Ten of Cups, the Eight of Pentacles. It's almost like you felt like everything was perfect. There was nothing that needed to be worked on. You may have felt like you could kind of lean into this, whatever it was. But again, it's like not everything was as it seems. I don't think I'm going to get any more information on that directly, but you would know more what this is speaking to specifically than I do. So just take what resonates and leave the rest. Let's look at the Ten of Pentacles here in the recent past. The Emperor, the Six of Wands, the Wheel of Fortune. Whatever this was and whatever happened here, it really shook up your foundations. The Ten of Pentacles is like everything you've built for yourself, your community. It's like having everything together, having all your stability in line. And I'm seeing that whatever this was, you really relied on it to support you, and you saw it as like very strong and very stable with that Emperor card. And something changed there with the Wheel of Fortune. Your confidence in that structure, whatever it was, shifted and changed in a major way quite quickly with the Knight of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Let's take a look at the Four of Wands. This might have affected your home space or some relationship that was very close to you and that you found a lot of stability in. The Nine of Pentacles, the Seven of Cups, the Five of Wands. There was some point at which it might have felt like it was every man for himself, a lot of fighting, a lot of confusion, and feeling very suddenly like you were on the outside looking in at whatever it was you used to balance with, and a lot of struggle to actually come together with this and balance with it in a really great way. Your oracle cards for today are the Lovers, Isolation in reverse, and the Outsider. So basically what I'm seeing is that there was some type of soul connection that felt really good at one point that you thought you didn't have to worry about, that you kind of felt like it didn't really need anything. And all of a sudden, it's like you became like pushed out of it and you became like the outsider looking in on it. So I don't know if this was like a friend group that you uh, suddenly found yourself on the outside looking in, or maybe this was a relationship, there was a third party situation, you got kind of cut out, and then you're on the outside looking in. But whatever it is, I see you kind of feeling suddenly alone, or suddenly like by yourself, and this does represent something that was like a soul connection, something that spoke to your heart. And it's almost like at some point with the Justice card in the overall energy, you sort of learned the truth, or you saw the truth. And it was that truth that kind of broke you open and allowed you to see more, understand more, or be put on like a different path. So I'm really interested. I'm very, what's the word? Uh, Very grabbed by this reading. So let's take a deeper look. In the current energy, we have the Hierophant, the Nine of Cups, the Two of Swords. So I'm actually seeing that whatever this was, it might have been divine redirection. There might have been something here that actually put you on the right course. With the Hierophant here, there could have been some type of spiritual lesson involved, or even like spiritual intervention that you didn't realize was coming in to kind of support you and put you in the right place. And you may not even realize with that Two of Swords that this is realigning you, but that's really what I'm seeing. So let's take a look at the Hierophant in the current energy. The Ten of Pentacles, the Three of Cups, the Five of Wands. Spirit's kind of coming in and saying, it's time to end any struggle with other people. Any struggle that was in your environment, anything that was creating a struggle within you, it's time for that to end. And there's also something here about a spiritual lesson of you learning within that, to see things more clearly, to ask yourself, what is it that contributed to that struggle? How did this kind of happen? What created these circumstances? And so there's actually quite a lot to learn from this situation that you might only be able to learn in hindsight, like by looking back at the situation. Let's take a look at the Nine of Cups. The Page of Swords, the World, Temperance. So there's a part of you that's realizing, okay, this chapter of my life is done. For better or worse, I've closed a chapter. And now there's this question of, what is it that I want long term? Like, what do I want for myself? What do I want to experience? What do I want to achieve over time? You could be asking yourself, like, where do I want to be 1 year from now? Where was I 1 year before? Where do I want to be in a few years? Something like that. And so you're taking a look at those deeper hopes and desires. And whatever this was, even if it felt like a tower moment where everything was kind of raised to the ground, it kind of redirected you to your North Star, to kind of just ask yourself, what is my purpose here? What am I really working towards? And if you are working towards something without much intention, or your energy was going in lots of different directions, that's really shifting now, and that's coming to a close. For the Two of Swords, we have the King of Wands, the Hermit, the Three of Swords. I see you kind of reflecting on your own actions here, your own behavior, and kind of healing from that. Some of you could feel like you're healing from someone else's reckless behavior, but it's almost like I know now what I didn't know before. So what is that teaching me? What is that showing me about what I really want, who I really am? And it's actually ultimately bringing you closer to yourself, but it's bringing you closer to yourself by removing whatever it is that isn't serving you in your life. So definitely a pretty hard emotional lesson to learn. Many of you might be feeling lonely or getting really bogged down in like why you have to suffer so much, why is this blocked? Especially if this is a romantic connection that you felt like was going really well, you could be feeling like, well, why isn't it working out? Like, why don't I get to have that? And Spirit's saying it's because you're meant to learn something from this experience. So try not to get too bogged down in the pain of it, and ask yourself, what can I really learn from my suffering? And then how can I move forward from it? Because sort of the point of our experiences is, yes, to experience the pain, to experience the suffering, experience the loss, but not to stay in it, not to stay suffering and in pain, right? And so you will learn from it if you make the effort to learn from it, to go from it, and then you need to move on. You can't carry it around forever. So let's take a look at the future through the Five of Cups, the Page of Cups, and then the Eight of Cups. So that's where we have this learning experience about this emotional process. Let's take a look at the Five of Cups. We have the Wheel of Fortune, the Moon, and the Lovers. Basically, I see you being upset. You're upset that things had to change. You're upset that you can't kind of access this connection in the same way anymore. With the Devil at the bottom of the deck, I'm seeing that this has a really intense hold on you. For some of you, it may not be a romantic connection either. This could be like a best friend who you were attached at the hip for your whole lives and then you had a falling out. For others of you, this could be a family structure that you felt really attached to and then you had to leave it behind. And there's something here about being so hurt and so disappointed by what you didn't know about the situation. And it almost comes through as like emotionally shocking, emotionally devastating once it's been made clear for you. It's like the veil's being pulled back and you're seeing the truth and you're having to sort of integrate that emotionally and process it kind of after the fact. Let's take a look at the Page of Cups, the Ace of Wands, the Star, the Four of Pentacles. So Spirit's saying this is an opportunity. You can either move towards your own deepest desires, the things that light you up, or you can hold on to this other energy. And so what I'm also getting from this is that some of you might have been latching onto energies outside of yourself to kind of give you meaning, to say, well, I'm in love with this person and that gives my life meaning. Or if I'm focused on my children all the time, then that gives my life meaning. And whether you know it or not, there may have been a part of you that has been neglecting your own passions, your own desires, your own aspirations, because you were so wrapped up in what you were getting emotionally from this external party. And Spirit's saying, let it go so that you can step into what you really want for yourself. And if you're someone who's never done anything for yourself, or you've never focused on yourself for a prolonged period of time, you might feel this real gap in your life, or this hole where all these other people or energies took place, or took up space. And Spirit's saying it's time to fill that space with yourself and actually to dream. And in order to dream, you have to create space for that. So you have to leave behind whatever was taking up space in your life and fill it with something new. And that is really what you're meant to be doing right now. Let's take a look at the Eight of Cups. This is going to be a journey for you, for sure. We have the Magician, the Seven of Pentacles, the Six of Cups. So there may be a part of you that thinks a lot about the past, ruminates on it, lifts up every stone of your past and looks underneath and asks, what happened there? What's this person doing now? And there's something that you're doing to focus on it. Maybe you're watching lots of tarot readings. Maybe you're journaling about the past constantly. And it comes through as some sort of habit or recurring behavior that kind of needs to be left behind. And at one point it may have been healing, or it may have helped you process, but Spirit's kind of saying you've processed enough, and at some point you're going to have to actually let this go, or else you're going to start to manifest the same thing, the same cycle coming back around in your life, and it's time to let it go. So that's the reading, Sag. Let me get 3 cards of advice for you before we close out. the Eight of Swords, the Fool, the Two of Swords. Let go of any anxiety and any limiting beliefs, fear of the unknown, all of that. Let yourself breathe. Let yourself be free of some of those things. I know that that's easier said than done. It's like I can't just put down this weight I've been carrying so easily. But if you notice yourself having patterns or habits that put you back into that place of being really anxious or feeling really stuck or really burdened, try to let go of some of those behaviors that lead you to do that, and ask yourself, if I could be anything, what could I be? So that's what I have for you, Sagittarius. I hope this helps. I hope this resonates, and I'll see you next time.